Hey guys, this is Blake from Blake's Sanctum, a retro site for retro games. Today I'm bringing to you another very special fan project. This one is called Open Imperium Galactica. And for those that don't know the Imperium Galactica series, it's a very old but awesome series. It's made by a little Hungarian company, so I think it's quite big in Hungary, but the rest of the world it's reasonably popular but maybe long forgotten in many parts. So I'm trying to do my bit to get it back out there a bit, because just recently Imperium Galactica 1 and 2 have been released on Steam. And what's really cool is that Imperium Galactica 2 is actually getting patched by I think it's THQ Nordic Games. They control the IP now, and they're actually working on the game again and have even upgraded its graphics to support better textures and modern HD resolutions. So that, accompanied by this fan remake of Imperium Galactica 1 that I'm about to show you, means that you can play both old games on modern systems looking better than they ever did before. So I strongly encourage any Imperium Galactica fan seeing this recording to go and check out the Steam, or Good Old Games release. Don't forget them too. If you're a Steam hater and you want to play the Good Old Games version, they're on there as well. So just do a Google search for Imperium Galactica, Steam or Good Old Games, and you'll find them. And I strongly recommend you, because the money will go straight to THQ Nordic. That'll tell them that this is going well, maybe we should do a sequel. They've actually posted in the Steam forums that they are going to monitor the success of the games, and so that, we could finally get that Imperium Galactica 3 we've been waiting for, because of course there was that whole fiasco in the early 2000s where we didn't get Imperium Galactica 3. It was this other weird space game that all the fans hated and ended up getting renamed to Nexus the Jupiter incident. But anyway, I'm here to show you Open Imperium Galactica, which is a fan remake of Imperium Galactica 1 that updates a lot of the elements of the game to make it compatible and far better looking on modern systems. And it's a very well put together, much like with OpenRA that does all the CNC games. It's really well put together. As you can see here, you get information straight away. It'll self-update as soon as you run it, and you get details about all the updates and fixes. It's got lots of extra options for those who really want to get into messing with the game. I mean, you've got video player, map editor, campaign editor, lots of options for tinkering around with things. So we're going to run the game. It's a nice loader and slightly different main menu to what your original players might remember. Now, what's really cool is I'm playing this on a 1080p large screen, and it just stretches it without, I didn't have to set anything. It just did it for me, and it gets those old Super VGA backgrounds. I think they were about 640 times 480, and stretches them really nice. I mean, that looks good. I'm not really seeing the pixels too badly, and this is blown up for me across a 32-inch screen. So if it looks crap, I'm going to notice it. So it's pretty good. And the videos, of course, you'd expect to be even worse, because they were about 320 times 200, and this game often transitions between the two, and you can really notice the difference. But on here, once again, these guys have really made the videos nice. So I'll chuck on something more interesting. Title video there. You can straight away notice that it actually looks quite smoothed out. I don't know what they've done. I mean, I'm guessing they haven't managed to get copies of original video assets or anything, because I know that they signed a contract with Digital Reality to be allowed to have this fan project. But I think they've just got a really nice video player and program to just beautifully sort of smooths out everything, so it looks really nice. Because these videos, you play the Steam or GOG version through DOSBox, the original game, and the videos don't look good. Even when you start putting on some of the DOSBox visual modifiers, they don't look good. They're very blocky. I mean, if you're someone like me who loves retro, then that's not going to bother you very much. But if you're someone that does care about that, then you'll appreciate this version here, where it's really smoothed out. So if you don't know Imperium Galactica, then I'm surprised you've even made it this far in the video listening to me ramble. But if you don't know it, then what made this series so good was the fact that it was a 3-in-1 type of game. You basically got a Master of Orion style space conquest game, where you start in a home solar system and expand out across the galaxy and conquer everywhere, and then you'd also have a SimCity style game where you could actually go down to your planets and you could actually build your buildings, and there's little roads in between them, and very SimCity 2000 kind of graphics. And I used to love playing the SimCity games back in the day. Not so much now, but back in the day I loved them. So when I found this game, I was like, wow, this is the best thing ever. Because suddenly I was creating multiple cities across multiple alien worlds and using future sort of technologies and stuff, which was very cool. And then finally, the third thing that's packed into this is basically Command and Conquer Dune style real-time strategy tank warfare. So these planets that you're building your cities on can be fought over. So alien fleets can attack your planets or your fleets and stuff, and if they overwhelm the defenses, they bring down invasion force of tanks and rocket tanks and all kinds of stuff, and radar jammers. There's all sorts of special units, and each race generally has some form of special units, which could be some kind of artillery or there's self-repairing tanks, various other super tanks. And so it gives that good Dune 2 kind of feel, and so it's kind of cool battling it out on the streets of the cities you've been building, or terrifying actually if you really care about that city. And the alien worlds, of course, have very alien-looking buildings, alien-looking defences, and so it's really fun doing that kind of stuff. So it's 3 games in one, and no one else out there's really done that. I mean, I'm planning on creating a big tribute page for this on Blake Sanctum that probably by the time this video is posted online, it'll be out there, so I'll have a link to it in this video. But normally I always put a similar games section on there, but I don't know what I'm going to put in there, because there's just not really anything else out there that's like this. There's plenty of games that have parts of what's in this game, but nothing is the real 3-in-1 kind of ultimate thing that this game is. So if you like those games I've mentioned, then give this a try, because you'll really like it. And if you really like it, then go support the games on Steam and GOG, and also support this fan project. So I've rambled on enough. It's time to get down to the good stuff. We'll let me see. Skip this video, because this video goes for ages. And I think that the part 1 of the video is talking about the future and how the Earth has become very full and all that kind of stuff, and it's time to expand. And then it goes to this part 2 where the colony ships are coming out of hyperspace and finding new worlds, and there's some very pretty views. Maybe I'll just let this go for a few seconds, because you see all these planets and like, ooh, adventure, new things to discover. This is sort of, I actually miss this era of games where they like to really go down and show all the fancy sort of, how can I explain it? Sort of like the going to the places shots. Instead of modern games, it's like you're on the space station, you're now on the planet, you're now doing this, there's not too much in between. Whereas here it's like they'll show you getting on a shuttle, flying to the space station, and all that kind of stuff. Look at that, all those planets and things. That's all very impressive. Skip that. Talks about how the Empire then gets too expansive and starts having internal conflicts, which is interesting, because this video is actually showing humans battling Garthogs, so that's not an internal strife, but hey, it looks cool, whatever. So we're going to go past that. It's time to start talking about the game and all the wonderful things these guys have done to the original game. So if I go to, this is the big thing. I'm going to cover this in more detail later, but just to give you a hint of what it's like now, basically one of the biggest complaints, I think, about the original Imperium Galactica, and why perhaps it didn't become a bigger thing and didn't, I guess, take the mantle from Master of Orion as sort of the most popular turn-based space strategy series, and most famous perhaps, as well as popular out there, was because it had this amazing campaign that drew you in, but once that was done, there was not really any replayability unless you really, really loved the campaign. There was no skirmish sandbox mode, because Master of Orion, every time you start a new game, it's a different galaxy, you pick your race, you customize everything, and it's going to be a new experience pretty much every time. But this game didn't have that. You've always got the same galaxy, you're always playing as the humans, you can't play as the aliens and all that kind of stuff. Well, this changes that. These are guys behind this fan project have done an amazing job. They have created a whole skirmish mode where you can literally customize your galaxy, all the races. You can have a huge amount of races. You can play as the alien races, and they don't get a lot of the cool human text, but fortunately he's added them to them in this one, to make sure that aliens get the fusion plants and the solar plants and all that kind of special stuff that they don't get in the campaign game. Their ships have all been carefully checked and balanced and sorted out, so you've got your upgrade levels and all the different techs to get the different ships, and it all balances out so that it's comparable to the humans. And so you can play as the Garthogs or the Dargslan, all those other weird alien races. It's really cool. So I'll show that later. For now, we're going to hop into campaign. And even in here, there's some great stuff in here. You can actually tinker with the original game. There's there's the original main campaign, but then there's this free mode where you basically it's difficult to explain this one. It's like a hybrid version of Skirmish and the main campaign. You're still in the main campaign galaxy. You get all the starting planets of the humans, so like Earth and all that stuff that you don't normally get to about, I think, Admiral level. You get it all at the start, and all the aliens are presumably starting without. And I don't think there's any story or objectives, though. So I think it's in the main campaign world, universe, galaxy, but that's it. There's no story elements. And then you got human versus AI, which is basically it's just, I think it's another way of accessing skirmish mode. So we're going to do main campaign. Now in the original game there were two difficulty settings, normal and hard, and so normal in the original game really was just easy. So don't be confused and think, oh yeah, I did normal in the original game, so I'll pick normal in this one, because I did that, and I played both games side by side just to see what kind of differences there were, and I noticed that this was harder. So in reality, the old normal is actually easy in this one. I survived though, so I mean, maybe you'll be fine. See how you go. Let me put it this way. Say if there was an end of rank battle, I noticed there were significantly more ships attacking me in this normal versus old normal. So anyway, we'll do, I'll leave it on that. You can even customize traits like in the skirmish game. I'm not sure if they had any drastic improvements on my campaign game. I think they might have, but you can make yourself more fertile and better at getting techs and all that kind of cool stuff. I won't play with that this day because that'll take me forever to figure out what I want again. Alright, so we're going to start game. And of course you get the intro video where they're going, welcome, and we've got a bit of a situation we need you to take care of. We're going to give you a little destroyer to go and sort it out, and you're going to manage, I think, 3 colonies, and so they ramble on. I'm not going to show all that. Skip that. You've got your starting ship here. Now look at this. This is one of the awesome improvements with this fan version. You've got objectives laid out. Now in the original game, there were many points where you'd just be like, what is going on? What am I supposed to do? Like, the game just didn't tell you, and you'd be sitting there trying to figure it out. And back in, was it 1997 this game came out, there wasn't much of an internet around. I mean, I had the internet in 97, but there wasn't much around out there, so I don't think there were any walkthroughs for this game until a few years later. And if you didn't have a walkthrough, it took a while to figure out what you were meant to do or what you'd done wrong. Because sometimes you just keep playing and there wouldn't be any more story elements. Like, everything would stop, and wasting time in this game is bad, because if you waste time, it means the AIs will be even better and stronger than you when you eventually get to Grand Admiral mode and the galaxy opens up, and you do not want that. Because they'll just demolish you, because they're just so much better than you, and plus they'll colonize all the lovely free planets out there. So anyway, let me see. So the objectives here, hit tab and you can see them. So straight away you can see what you need to do. Now, this is your starting ship, and you go to the Starmap, and fans of the original game will remember that basically this red box in this interview was your entire view. Whereas this game, it doesn't let you zoom in any closer, but you can straight away see the entire, oh, I went a bit too far. That's the entire galaxy that you get later in the game. Now, you couldn't see this in the original game. You just had this zoomed in view of your starting area, and you could only tell the galaxy size by looking in the bottom right hand corner at the little mini-map there. So you get 3 planets at the start. Now notice these icons here. This is also new to the fan version. Straight away, it's really good, taking some hits from Master of Orion and other games. If there's a problem on a planet, if it's building something, if it's doing something, it'll tell you straight away with a little icon. And if you go down here and hold the mouse over it, it'll even tell you what it means. Serious lack of living space. Now, fans of the original game, remember that when you start the game, Achilles has all these problems. So, you know, this is telling you with all these wonderful icons. It's a great test for the game. You can see straight away, you learn the interface of the game straight away because you're starting with problems. Look at the planet view, the higher resolution. Remember how difficult it was to place buildings. I mean, in the original game, I reckon it was like I think it was pretty much that. Like, that's how big everything was in the original game, except the interface was also massive. And so these, like, you didn't even have this info box. You had to hit F7, I think, to get the info screen up. And this building properties and building thing was like, came out here. Absolutely massive. So straight away, not just a visual improvement, but just helps strategically. I mean, you can place your buildings so much better when you see the whole planet. Other difference, you couldn't see the edges of the map in the original game. Like, it was about there. Basically, that was all you could see, and so you'd have to be trying to blindly feel where the gaps were to place buildings as far north as you could and as far south as you could to make sure that you weren't wasting space. Whereas here, you can see it all. Now, on some planets, that leads to some weird stuff, because I guess the original game makers never intended you to see these bits. So you might get some weird stuff. This planet's fine, but you might get some, like, pieces of rivers or mountains and stuff up here that don't look right, but it's wonderful. The strategic benefits far outweigh the visual problems. You got nice little icons here for worker issues. Haven't got power. I mean, I think you get the I don't have power one and the other one, but it's just, you know, it's better icons in this one, more explanations. And the build list is still for the old interface, but you get little icons inserted here and there. The colony info screen is still there, so you got the one on the bottom, which is, you know, useful, but you can still come to this one, adjust the tax like you used to be able to. There's a whole bunch more tax levels. Like, it's on low right now because everyone's unhappy, but look at that. I mean, in the original one, I think it went up to like oppressive. Now it's like exploiter, slavery. You can really go hardcore with taxing your people, and because you can do heaps more with your buildings, this one, you can get away with it. Another huge improvement. Where can I demonstrate that straight away? It's not showing me at the moment. That's annoying. There's like a... I forgot that it doesn't show you at the beginning. Normally around here there's an upgrade button. Yeah, it's weird that it's not showing me that. Maybe I have to do a few things before it lets me have access to it. See that star there? That star means that this nuclear plant's been upgraded. So maybe it's just not there because the planet has no power. Like if I go to another planet. Naxos. There we go. Okay. This is a nice Earth-like planet with rivers and forests and stuff. See there? Now this is something that wasn't in the original game. I mean, its original power output is there, 3,500, but look at this. You can increase the output to 150% for this, basically the same price as building the building fresh. So you're getting a 50% bonus. It's obviously cheaper to just go and build another nuclear plant, but when space is premium, you can start using these upgrades. So then you got 200%, but look at this, still more, 250, 300%. So you can get 300% output out of one nuclear plant. That's really cool. And you get those kind of upgrades for a lot of other buildings as well. Like you can do it with the food buildings. You can do it. I think you can do it with the homes to get more living space. You can do it. Very importantly, you can do it with the spaceship and equipment and weapon factories. So you can build spaceships quicker. You can't do it with the research buildings, sadly. That'd be handy because boys, it take a while to get technologies in this game. It's even slower in this fan version than the original, I reckon. You can upgrade the money-making buildings, and man, does that help. You can upgrade all this stuff. You can't upgrade the defense buildings, sadly, like the iron projector and stuff, but yeah. Happiness buildings, some of them can't get upgrades either, but yeah, that just adds another wonderful element that wasn't in the original game. And you also, finally, the other big thing about planets is weather effects. We haven't got any at the moment, but this is taken, I guess, from the sequel. What was cool about the 3D sequel, Imperium Galactica 2, is that you had rain and snow, all these wonderful effects on planets that really made it immersive. Well, the makers of this have brought that into this game, so I'll try and find some weather effects in other save games. I don't think there's any here, but you can have snow falling, rain falling, thunder and lightning and stuff. It's very cool. So yeah, I think that's everything I plan to show in this first stage of the game. So I'm going to load the end of it to show you some more exciting stuff like battles and things.
Starmap.
So this is at the end when you're meant to escort the Admiral on his oh yeah, I've actually, before I show you this, I've forgotten something very important, and I didn't even describe this at the beginning and why the game is so good. You've got your three different elements of the game. The space warfare, the planet building, and the planet warfare. But you've also got this wonderful effect where you're actually on the bridge of a starship, and you can walk around this starship. So if I go here, look at this. I'm leaving the bridge, and I'm walking around the ship, and it looks really good for this video thing. The transitions between the VGA and Super VGA look good because of the excellent stuff these guys have used. So you can go to your cabin, look on the computer, and look up various things, alien races, and right now you only know pirates, annoying pirates, and ship map. You can see this is a very simple little destroyer. You can't get to the crew quarters, but you can just go to your cabin and the bridge. You can exit the terminal, go back to the bridge. That's just a nice immersion thing, and you know it's not done in many games. You know, the one that I think utilises it best since is StarCraft 2. StarCraft 2 I loved. I almost spent as much time on that ship as I did on the missions because I loved walking around and talking to members of the crew and stuff. And in this game there's plenty of that too, and later on you get bigger ships with like bars and diplomacy rooms and stuff, and you can go down to the bar and talk to people and further the game's story, which is just brilliant. And each time you get promoted, you've got a different ship, and that different ship has different areas to walk around and explore. And here you can go get your messages and talk to your colonies. You can ask the colonies how you're going. Like, I've fixed these guys up now, so be like, hey, how you going? And they'll speak back to you. And there's no lip sync because the original videos were done in Hungarian, I think. So you'll notice that the English voices do not match up. Just in case you're wondering with that. So we got back to the star map. Now, okay, so we're at the end of Lieutenant here, where you've got to escort the Admiral on the Thorin, which is this massive super battleship thing that you get towards the end of the game. So here's my lousy little destroyer here, the most basic cap ship in the game. Meeting up with the massive Thorin, which is the flagship, the last of its kind from the old Empire. Apparently something like 4 times bigger than the biggest battleships they have now. Rather impressive. And this is what I was talking about earlier. We get these great going to videos. It's like, now you're on the shuttle, entering the shuttle bay, and they take a lot of stuff from Star Wars, where you get to watch these landing sequences, these big sort of shuttle bays and stuff, and people walking around. So I mean, I'm not going to go through all that at the moment. We'll skip that. So now we got once again, the wonderful objectives are coming up and telling us what we got to do. And look at that. I mean, in the original game, a lot of people wouldn't have realised that you can actually contact the Colonel for reinforcements. Most of the time, he's just like, you know, Dante, can't you handle? You know, he has some angry message where you ask for reinforcements and he tells you to get stuffed. Well, now he'll say yes. A lot of people might have missed that, which makes it a lot harder on you.
Sir, I request reinforcements. A small fleet of alien spaceships is following the Thorin.
Oh no!
Very well. Maintain surveillance. I will dispatch reinforcements immediately.
Alright, so he gives you some extra ships. And also because you helped a pirate earlier on in this level, they'll show up and help you too. So, I'm still escorting the Thorin. I think the Garthog will appear. This is your first introduction to the Garthog. There they are. I'm going to seek out. Another cool thing is in the original game you had to do, I think, Control click to attack and Alt click to move and all this rubbish. Now it's just click on the ship, and you know the game will figure out whether you're going to attack or visit it or not. You know, it's you can still use those Alt controls though if you want to override, but yeah, life's much easier. This is going to be the introduction to the new battle screen. Now, fans of the original game will remember that the battle screen was actually smaller because the interface, of course, once again was so massive. So now it's bigger. You can zoom in and out, and one of the biggest frustrations with the original game was the ships would all get caught up with each other, like in those old RTS games, you know, with the CNC and Dune and stuff. You know, that's like with the old tanks doing circles around each other and going in the wrong directions. Well, that used to happen in the original version of this game too. Well, they got rid of that. The ships can overlap now, which is very handy. And you can also, it's got better formation controls and things, so I'm going to put them there. There's no videos, sadly, in the interface. Fans of the original game will remember you used to get a nice video playing in the corner. I mean, it was just decoration, it didn't really matter. In fact, it slowed the game down. in many cases, so possibly it's never going to be implemented in this fan version, or they just haven't got to it yet because it's not a priority. I'm not sure, but I don't really miss it that much. But it was cool back in the day, though, to see all these ships blasting each other in fancy videos in the corner. Just, up to that immersion. So I got to make sure I don't, be a dumbass and lose this battle while the internet's watching. So we're going to go okay, and I'm going to, oh yeah, pirate, remember me, yay! And you can, that's the other wonderful thing. There's a lot of story elements in battles in these earlier levels where you have to go through these conversations, and in the original game you couldn't skip them. You had to wait for them to finish talking. So here you can just click. Look at that, speeding through it. Bang, 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 done. Right, bomb fire. You get ready to protect the Thoron. Generally it's handy in this battle, like, just let the Thoron absorb some damage, because you're not going to get the Thoron for ages, and the one that you do get is not technically this particular ship, so if you trash it, it won't affect when you get it. Oh no! When I'm in my test game, he didn't open fire on the missiles. That's going to hurt me if he manages to destroy them. Get him, get him. Oh, we're fine. And use your last bomb on this guy. And then everyone, get these guys. Those targets are not important. Oh, different. Another cool thing: speed control. You didn't get this in the original game. The buttons were there, but they didn't work. So now I can just fly through a battle if it gets tedious. Care about whether I lose things. I just need to win the battle for the purposes of this video tool. Get him! There we go. You won. You have won the battle, Commander, but not the war. We shall not be defeated. Blah blah blah. Promotion to captain.
Starmap.
So, at any moment now, we have fulfilled our objectives. At any moment there should be a video. In fact, I'll speed up the game. Come on.
Message. We have received a message.
There we go. Your first promotion.
Lieutenant, you've done well. You've just been promoted. Congratulations, Commander. You'll be boarding your new ship in Sector B2. That sector where you will be stationed is near the Garthog Empire. Apparently your job hasn't gotten any easier, but I know you will handle it. Be careful.
This is your first big test. You got to go take on the Garthog, and you get given a cruiser. So this is the lovely cruiser you get given here. So you can get off your crappy old destroyer, and this cruiser is quite handy.